So how can you tell if your child's improving in class? That's the topic for today. Matt Thompson, raising a warrior. Okay, so it's a pretty common thing parents want to know. How's my kid doing in class? When I get asked this question sometimes, I'm reminded of that the book, and they did a movie, it was the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they're trying to figure out what's the meaning of life.
They commissioned two of their brightest and best to design and build a stupendous supercomputer to calculate the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Put that question to it, and it answers back.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42.
42.
42.
Useless answer. And what I mean to say, to reference that, is what was being said there is the quality of your answer a lot of times depends on the quality of the question. When a lot of people come in, if you really want to know how your kid's doing, unless you yourself have a martial arts education, it's going to be hard to tell.
You know nothing.
And with that, I think we should also say, like, what are your goals? What is an improvement? A lot of people come to martial arts for different reasons. Sometimes they just want a fun activity. Sometimes their kid's getting bullied. Sometimes their kids maybe got ADHD or maybe some other challenges, and they're learning how to just regulate themselves. In that case, you're going to have to ask questions.
Ever gone mountain biking?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
What's the right tip? Have you called a plumber to your home lately?
That align with that. If it's just simple as, hey, it's a fun activity and you want to see if they're improving, that's pretty easy. You want to ask simple questions like, what is it that my son or daughter is working on right now? What's the one thing that's really challenging them and holding them back? What could I be doing with them at home to help them to be better? Those are really great questions, easy questions. And if you ask most instructors, they'll be excited.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
To be asked those questions, because you're helping them to succeed. But if your son or daughter has maybe problems paying attention in class, then you're going to have a different rapport with that instructor. And you have to have an instructor who's also going to be a little bit more proactive in terms of, paying attention to how that kid's behaving. So then when they're talking to you and they're saying things like, okay, well, they were able to sit still and pay attention today, or I'm reminded of some of the students here, they weren't doing headstands in the middle of my lesson while I was trying to explain how to do a technique. Having that kind of rapport, but just to go up to them and ask, how's my kid doing, you're going to get fine. Because the only reason why the instructor is going to say anything else is if there's a real problem and your son or daughter is breaking down the flow of class.
Precious.
And if I ever have those kinds of problems, then I think what I tend to do is I'll reach out first. But at any rate, so you want to think about crafting those questions so that you're getting that instructor to give you the best information possible. Most instructors, when they get asked these questions, there's a little bit of defensiveness because we don't want to disappoint anyone.
Very disappointed!
And we also like having students in the class, and we don't like the idea of possibly having somebody quit on us or giving us a bad Google review or any of those kinds of things, Yelp reviews, whatever. So make sure when you are trying to talk to this instructor, if you can build a rapport with them where they feel comfortable just telling you what they really think and not having it be a problem, that's useful. It doesn't bother me so much. I pretty much will just say, this is what I think, and try my best to be useful to the parents. Help them. That's the big thing. That's clearly the big thesis here. Now, when you get that answer, the other thing is really act on it. And act on it in a way where, let's take something simple. Like my kid's doing something like taekwondo, right? Really common. and they're doing a roundhouse kick, right? The problem is that their foot on the floor is not pivoting. So when they go to do that kick, they're going to be wrenching their knee if they're not careful. That foot on the floor has to turn. And so if the instructor says, one of the things they're having trouble with is on their side kicks, on the roundhouse kicks, kind of basic, maybe the first 6 months they're really working on those. Okay, they got to get that pivot. They have to pivot on the front ball of the foot, not their heel, all those little details. And then if you're working with them and that improves, and you go back to the instructor and go, I've been working with them, is that improving? You're going to be that instructor's favorite person on the face of the earth. And yes, of course, you're paying them. You might be thinking, well, I should get this sort of treatment regardless. Yeah, but it's still human beings, right? So if you can work with that instructor, they're going to be that much more excited to work with you. So the quality of your questions, your ability to be a leader in this whole thing really helps quite a lot. The instructor is going to do their best, but again, and I always maintain this, the parents are the ones who are really steering the ship here. They're the ones that are the final decision makers on where they're going to study, what they're going to study, what time they're going to get there, everything. So don't be afraid of taking that ownership and being a good leader, just like any manager that had people working for them. Give them the right questions, create the environment where they can succeed best in helping you to raise a warrior.